Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Gopitana Vallabha Girivada Hari Gopitana Vallabha Jaya Gopitana Vallabha Girivada Hari Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanantari Yamuna Tira Vanantari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jai Gopitana Vallabha Girivada Hari Gopitana Vallabha Jai Gopitana Vallabha Girivada Hari Gopitana Vallabha Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanantari Yamuna Tira Vanantari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Pimanande. Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajagacharya Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Hila Bhai Charanarvin Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandagiti Founder Charyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtana Ki Grantaraj Mad Bhagavatam Ki Daini Thakur Primananda. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Our yesterday's visitors are returning. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tagubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Dharam Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasha Badrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Shakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God as Srila Vyasadeva It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Sri Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara,
Advaita Gadadhara,
Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta
Srivasadi
Vrinda,
Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Sarabhyaya
Om
Namaha.
Sarvaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya
Om
Namaha.
Sarvaya Namaha.
Om Sarabhyaya
Om
Namaha.
Sarvaya Namaha.
Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class, continuing from Canto number 1, chapter 18, entitled Parikshit Maharaj Cursed by a Brahmana Boy. Text number 44. Yes. Tad adya na papam upaiti ananvayam yan nasta nathasya vasor vilumpakat parasparam gnanti shapanti vrinjate pashun striyo arthan puru dasyavo janaha. Tad adyana papam upaitananvayam yannastanathasya vasor vilumpakat parasparam gnanti shapanti vrinjate pashun striyor Pashun Sriyorthan Purudasya Vojanaha. Tadadyana Papam Upaitananvayam Yannasto Nathasyo Vasor Vilumpakat Parasparam Gnanti Shapanti Vrinjate Pashun Sriyortan Purudasya Vojanaha Tadadyana Papam Upancharanvayam Yannasta Nathasya Vasor Vilumpakat Parasparam Gnanti Shapanti Vrinjate Pashun Striyor Tan Purudasya Vojanaha. Tadadyana papam upaitananvayam Yannastanatasya vasor vilumpakat Parasparam gnanti shapanti vrinjate Pashun sriyortam purudasya bojanaha.
Tadajana papam upaiti ananvayam.
Tadadyana papam upaitananvayam
Yannastanathasya vasur vilumpaka.
Yannastanatasya visopakat
Parasparam ganchi sapanchi vrinjate.
Parasparam gnanti sapanti vrinjate
Striyarthan purudasya bhojanaha.
Pashun sriyortam purudasya bojanaha.
Tadadyanah papam upaityananvayam
Tadadyana papam upaitananvayam
Yannastanathasya vasor vilumpaka
Yannastanatasya vaso vilumpakat
Parasparam gnanti shapanti vrinjate
Parasparam gnanti sapanti vrinjate
Pashun striyorthan purudasya bojanaha
Pashun sriyortam purudasya bojanaha. Tat. For this reason, adya, from this day, naha, upon us, papam, reaction of sin, upaiti, will overtake, ananvayam, disruption, yet, because, nasta, abolished, natasya, of the monarch, vaso, of wealth, vilumpakat, being plundered, parasparam, between one another, gnanti, will kill, shapanti, will do harm, vrinjate, will steal, pashun, animals, striyaha, women, arthan, riches, puru, greatly, dasyabaha, thieves, janaha, the mass of people. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. Kindly repeat after me. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. Report. Word naha, we, is very significant in this verse. The sage rightly takes the responsibility of the brahmanas as a community for killing monarchical government, and thus giving an opportunity to the so-called Democrats, who are generally plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. The so-called Democrats capture the administrative machine without assuming responsibility for the prosperous condition of the citizens. Everyone captures the post for personal gratification, and thus, instead of one king, a number of irresponsible kings grow up to tax the citizens. It is foretold herein that in the absence of good monarchical government, everyone will be the cause of disturbance for others by plundering riches, animals, women, etc. Translation again. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. The people will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. Very heavy uh, statement, and it's it's always important to study history to know. History determines what is happening today. It's all based on what has happened uh, previously. Uh, just like that is the law of karma. We are here today in this body uh, because of previous activities, uh, generally in previous lives. So the history of Kali Yuga begins with this particular incident of mm, this cursing of the young boy, Sringi, cursing Pariksit Maharaj. And again, in a very strong way, Srila Prabhupada is upholding the Vedic system of governance called monarchy, uh, which again, uh, I think we tend to forget. It's like Krishna is described as being um, perfect and complete, isn't it? Uh, which means that whatever he does, his creation, his spiritual creation, as well as his material creation, is also perfect and complete. And it's one of the, I would say, very essential and fundamental concepts, which is very much absent and lacking in modern day society. Uh, Rather, majority of people, majority of so-called intellectuals, majority of so-called scientists believe their belief, their understanding is that there is nothing perfect. There will never be anything perfect. It's a very convenient philosophy. Um, but the Bhagavatam, Bhagavat school, believes in perfection. We believe in perfect knowledge. We believe in perfect, uh, absolute mm, personality of Godhead, which means that actually Krishna's creation, Krishna's material arrangement, and of course here specifically in terms of governance, monarchy, uh, when properly understood, when properly taken up, is that perfect system. Well, it is part of the larger perfect system of Varnashrama Dharma. Dharma is perfect, isn't it? That's why it's logical also. Anything that is perfect doesn't need to be changed and will be eternally perfect. Mm. And therefore, savai pumsam paro dharmo, the param dharma, of course, culminates in awakening our devotion, our bhakti for Krishna. But Krishna's um, material creation, when we understand that creation, when we abide by the rules and the system created by Krishna, it is all meant to help us more quickly uh, come to that perfectional stage. And of course, here it's very clearly and very strongly explaining how when we don't have that system, when we don't follow that system, then all kinds of suffering, all kinds of uh, bad things. I mean, all kinds of corruption, uh, and those especially in need of protection uh, will be the ones generally uh, more exploited, and they will be suffering the most. As so, it's like man, this verse was written 5,000 years ago, but it's like so relevant in our present modern day situation. See, this is what happens because of we all have this problem of ahankar. Ahankar means actually we want to be kingly. Kings by nature are meant to govern. They're meant to control society. There, it's quite appropriate. A king is meant to lord it over, um, because he's the Lord. He is the incarnated personality. As we were reading, the king is yeah, Naradeva. Yes, thank you. He is the direct representative. He is meant to be practically worshipped as God. He is the representative of God. Now, obviously, and that's the cause of all kinds of fighting amongst nations. But when kings disagree on principles of dharma, largely, but what has happened in Kali Yuga is that everyone wants to become king. This is also here. It's like, normally when there's one king, everyone follows that king. But when there are too many people, and that is the whole modern way of living, the whole modern culture is actually, we could say, actually the core principles of democracy. It's like democracy means, everyone, you 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 develop, and you compete also against others to become number one, one is encouraged actually in this way. Whereas the opposite mentality is actually promoted and encouraged in the Vedic culture. In the Vedic culture, we are induced, we are encouraged, we are trained also to become servants, isn't it? Because that is our constitutional position. And even a Vedic king, he doesn't see himself as the controller, but as a servant of the people. And, one of our sannyasis, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, wrote nice books actually on servant leader. The whole concept of leader. A leader is meant to be the best example of servant, because he is because of his developed consciousness. He is meant to exemplify that mood or that mentality of service. And a Vedic king, or any Vedic leader for that matter, because he has realized, he understands the essence of dharma, which is ultimately um, to surrender, to surrender and to engage in service to the Lord. So a qualified king will protect his citizens, all the citizens, and engage them in so many nice ways that they will engage in the service of the Lord. And in this way, because he understands that the primary goal and purpose of life is to become self-realized, to reinstate ourselves in our eternal position as servants. So this particular verse and many other similar verses should be of, I would say, special importance, are of special importance, should be of special significance for us in knowing and understanding, because this is so very powerfully presented here, that there is actually a system and a perfect system of governance within monarchy, although it is something that is not not at all mainstream or popular in modern day society. And of course, the main instruction being made here, being explained, is that due to misuse of Brahminical position and power, then this has destroyed monarchy. This has created this conflict and animosity between these two most important, we could say, rulers or leaders within society. No society can properly function without especially these two foremost and topmost leaders, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. And that was, Prabhupada's plan, to reinstate, to train individuals who will become ideal Brahmanas, who will take up the role and position of ideal Brahmanas, and who will work in harmony, in close cooperation with other ideal Kshatriyas. Yeah. So a society will only properly function when we have such ideal Brahmanas and such ideal Kshatriyas. And Prabhupada he spoke about this ample times, many times. One of our primary objectives is to create, if we want to actually restore peace and harmony and prosperity within society, we have to know what are the scientific sciences. You know, the scientific sciences. By nature, sciences are meant to be scientific, systematic, very uh, uh, perfect, perfectly thought out, and that is meant to be learned. That is that is that is there within the Vedic teachings, and these were the primary subjects in traditional Gurukul, because traditional Gurukul especially were for training these two individuals, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and when such Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are in place, then the rest of society will follow, because they're the ones who decide on uh, on land matters, Kshatriyas in particular, uh, and so this is, although a relatively short purport, but Prabhupada is making very strong points here. How to restore society, how to come to that point of protecting those, especially in need of protection, and those who are the most vulnerable, as outlined in the Bhagavatam, women, children, etc., like that. Yes.
You look at history, you mentioned history repeats itself.
Yes.
And so this, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, we see the example of monarchical regime being, dislocated, and
This.
then there would be followed by plundering of wealth, harm to women and children. It seems that even in recent history, all the revolutions, whether it's the Democrats of the French Revolution or the Bolsheviks of the Russian Revolution, when
Yes.
they removed the monarchical regime, it was in a very violent way. There's a lot of killing, guillotines, right, plundering of wealth, and then the system that they replaced with, whatever philosophy they had, some kind of, not exactly brahmanas, but the thinkers,
Right.
you know, they're not properly situated. They replaced with another system which is also plundering wealth, exploiting women in the name of empowerment.
Yes. Yes.
In a very twisted and perverted way. It seems like they are promoting and protecting them, but actually they are exploiting.
Yes. The end result is uh, the total opposite of what they might have wanted or planned. The fact being that as long as one does not adopt what is the prescribed and recommended system, which is there in the Shastra, but yeah, history repeats itself. Um, Again, um, one, it's important to know our history and uh, what is being said here, for example, uh, by the Brahmana here, that because of misuse of our um, Brahmanical power, we have created this rift between Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, which has brought about all kinds of negative results, disruption, etc. This is also exactly what happened. Um, yeah, approximately 200 years, as you're quoting, like the French Revolution. Anyone who studies the French Revolution is a very major historical event for which we're suffering consequences to this day.
All over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. Yeah, it's a global effect. um, because what happened, because I had to study that a little bit uh, when I was doing my research, and it's very interesting. It's like very obvious, very clear also. What happened approximately 200 years ago 200 years ago, monarchy was everywhere. That was the main system of governance. And the two most powerful personalities in society, or the two most powerful um, agents, were the church and the kings. You know, but because it's Kali Yuga, there was a lot of corruption in both of these whatever different leaders within the church and amongst kings, and because of very heavy exploitation of the people, because of corruption in their moral character, etc. They were abusing their power, because a king definitely has a lot of power. Brahmana also can command a lot of power because he has a knowledge. So because of this over abuse of their positions, the mass of people revolted. And so what actually happened is that uh, they totally rejected um, both monarchy and the church. And uh, to this day, there's a whole different way of thinking, which is more materialistic, which is more atheistic in nature, uh, rejecting the basic concept and institution of religion, and also rejecting such type of governance, means monarchy specifically. But from a Vedic point of view, anyone who studies Vedic culture and the philosophy, um, it means basically that this whole revolution, um, in wanting to restore proper system within society, ultimately rejected the position of brahmanas and kshatriyas. Because when one rejects that very concept of religious teachers and um, um, specifically monarchy, then that's as they say, um, that's a perfect formula for disaster. Yeah. So that means that although there's so much, I mean, people in many ways had many good reasons because of misuse of their power. The brahmanas of the time, means the church, and the kshatriyas, uh, monarchs or the kings at that time, they were abusing their powers. So the solution is not to reject the system as such, but actually to purify. Same problem was there. We were discussing about varnashram. The system is not to just throw out the whole thing, or reject the Vedic knowledge, which was a position taken by, we will not mention. Uh, so the solution is to properly understand and correct and actually restore what is meant to be the original recommended system in the Shastra. Of course, that requires, which is something very weak or absent in modern day society, acceptance of Shastra, uh, or for that matter, acceptance of a higher authority. Acceptance of Shastra means acceptance of higher authority. And now that's become a very major problem in general. I mean, for people, because of so much of degradation which is there. So yes, history does repeat itself, and not only does history repeat itself in terms of bad things, but also good things. I mean, Krishna came to reestablish the principles of Dharma. Lord Chaitanya came to also to introduce the holy name as the foundational process in Kali Yuga, and all of the Vaishnavacharyas actually they contribute as well according to the developments that are taking place, according to the social context. They introduce and emphasize very often some particular aspect. So Srila Prabhupada, who was very much, especially representing, of course, all the acharyas, but very much in line with our most recent Vaishnava acharyas, in particular Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in line with their whole, because acharyas, they think ahead, way ahead. They are able to understand how things are meant to um, develop. Um, what is it? They are visionaries.
Visionaries.
Yeah.
Trikalagya.
Yeah.
Trikalagya.
Trikalagya. Like, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as we know, talked about uh, Russians and Germans, or I mean people from different countries one day coming and together chanting the holy name, which has already happened. So they can they can foresee and foretell. So Srila Prabhupada, very much in line with these recent acharyas, has laid down, actually we could say, has given us the blueprint for bringing in a whole new edition in terms of civilization, and that's that needs to be understood. And the more we understand it, then that actually becomes our main meant to be our main meditation, we could say, our main preoccupation, our main goal and purpose in life. And I mean, what Prabhupada did, what he began, was inconceivable. Every town and village, introducing the chanting of the holy name. And what seems also inconceivable is, reintroducing or reestablishing the Vedic culture. Because at this point, from a material point of view, forget about it. I mean, it's like, it's practically impossible. But fortunately for us, the word impossible doesn't exist.
Impossible says, I am possible.
Yes. Yes. So,
I have one question about this Gurukul.
which
That-
Gurukul?
We
We spoke.
says that the function of the Gurukul is to establish the Vedic system.
Okay. Yes.
You mentioned two leaders like Brahmana Kshatriyas.
Yes.
That and many times you mentioned the third leader type like the Vaishyas.
Yes.
But I don't see you clearly establish that Gurukuls also have really great responsibility to develop Vaishyas, Vaishya leaders, not just who know some economy, but who is a leader of the re-establishing the Vedic economic system and cooperation between the three leadership like Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. So, can you a little bit share your understanding how these three leaders should cooperate together and teach them, means educate them for
Yes. 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 Well, Prabhupada explains, and that is there in our Shastra, how although Gurukul is open for the Dvijas, for all three, but generally it's especially the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas who will be receiving for an extended period of time the kind of training needed. And you see, because Kshatriyas, by nature and definition, one of the most important responsibilities for them is connected with land. And they're the ones who understand and who are meant to be uh, implementing uh, how to properly utilize the land. That's where the Vaishyas come in. Vaishyas are the ones who, under the guidance and direction of the king, and of course the Brahmanas as well, uh, because the Kshatriya, he's the one who uh, has been given the responsibility to govern the land, to see that the land is properly producing. Yeah, I mean, Vaisya is meant for production, and the king will protect the land and protect. That means the Vaishyas also, and the cows, because that's a whole Vedic economy: cows, land, and cows and land. And so there will be a very, very direct and very close working relationship and support, actually, that the Kshatriya will be giving to the Vaishyas. And that's a whole forgotten science, practically, in modern day society. We're doing, I mean, agriculture is going on everywhere, but in an exploitative manner. Yeah,
Agribusiness, no
agribusiness, yes, yeah. And agribusiness and dairy business. Dairy business. They call it like that. Yeah. So yeah. So like in Varnashram College, uh, that is, I would say, Prabhupada's genius. That he felt that because the whole system is broken, we have to systematically reintroduce it, whereby in Varnashram College, all of the four Varnas are meant to be taught. People are meant to be trained, and and of the four Varnas, the first three are the most important. Of course, the fourth one is also important because unless you have people who can do things, who can learn different skills to help support actually the activities of Vaishyas especially, then things won't happen. Yes.
My just thought and I wanted to validate is that once things are in place, it seems that only Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are eligible for formal education. Like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that, though Striyo, Vaishya, Tatha Sudra, these three, though not eligible for formal education, that's what it implies, they can still achieve him.
Right.
So the implication being that the formal education, when things are in order,
Mainly for
only is
Brahmanas
for
and
Brahmanas and
Kshatriyas.
Kshatriyas.
Yes. Yes. Prabhupada, when he speaks about Gurukul, he especially focuses on, well, he was mainly focused on Brahmana. He spoke less, but he gave various instructions as well. Yeah.
So in practical application, the kings are collecting tax, means collecting such a fund in materials also, which supposed to make the society safe from
Yeah.
many different natural diseases or destructions. But that means the Vaishyas have to pay tax for the kings.
Yes.
But the amount of the tax could be have a burden on the Vaishyas, and they may produce more things more easily when they are uh, exploiting the the field, and who will check them if their system is properly done, if the kshatriya is only interested the amount of the tax.
Uh, so that's where there needs to be proper training, whereby a qualified monarch, a qualified king, he will not exploit his, you know, um, his praja, yeah, and there's a whole. It's already clearly defined what is the system, isn't it? Prabhupada explains how, like in modern day society, we're being taxed right and left in so many ways, but in Vedic culture, it's very simple. If one who has land, first of all, land is freely made available, right? Not like today where uh, land is like cannot purchase land practically. So there's a whole natural working relationship. Um, it's just that we've not seen such examples in Kali Yuga, and therefore it's kind of like far away from our vision and far away from our understanding. We get glimpses, of course. I mean, in the Bhagavatam, in the Vedic culture, when that system is in proper order, then the citizens means the common people, means the Shudras, and also the Vaishyas. They are um, happy to give their quota, which is standard and very reasonable according to what they produce. There's a fixed amount that they give, isn't it? So if the king is a proper king, he won't demand more, and he won't be exploiting his subjects. So all the members of the system need to be properly trained to understand their respective position, their respective roles, and that's the missing feature of the system today. The missing aspect is that no one is exploited. Now today there's massive exploitation. In the Vedic culture, one really sees and appreciates and experiences the fatherly uh, position of the king, and they develop a whole appreciation for what he is doing because he's constantly like a father looking after the welfare um, of of his country. So when therefore the need, the importance for everyone to receive proper training, and then the system is very elaborately laid out, explained. That's why if we don't take that training, we won't properly know and understand it, and that's why in so many ways we have failed. We have failed actually to understand, uh, why Prabhupada introduced this whole system of Varnashram College, is to give us, to introduce us to this very, very deep and profound science of how society is meant to be organized. So if we are, you know, uh, what's the word? If we are sticking unreasonably to a particular way of thinking, in other words, if we're just thinking of ISKCON as a society, as a religious organization, we're going to be missing the boat.
You're missing
We're going to miss the boat.
both, yes.
Yeah. I mean, ISKCON as a society has a role and a position, has a role to play. But what we are missing largely is the vision of our acharyas who want to deal with and provide to the whole of society. Because the majority of people live in society. They don't live within a religious institution. You know, institutions have their role and their position, but religious institutions are not the ones that are meant to govern society. So it's a whole there's a whole need for understanding this broader and larger concept that is there in the Shastra and explained by our acharyas.
There's a famous quote by Srila Prabhupada where he says, "Millions will join us
Yes,
when you open this palms to
yes,
make it show that this is what."
yes, yes,
The millions won't join the temple. It's impossible.
right,
It has to be
Yes,
a
yes,
farm cow-based economy. We show, and what was it, millions will join.
yes, yes. And we're just not at all ready for that. We've not understood this most fundamental concept, that to rebuild or reestablish or revive the Vedic culture, then we have to deal and understand the whole of society, uh, and an ideal society, how a perfect society is there in the Bhagavatam. Perfect society for social divisions, perfect society for spiritual divisions. That's the standard. That's the Bhagavatam uh, information that we are receiving, and upon which we need to meditate to more clearly understand. And when we don't give which is the case now, when we don't give the sufficient attention and importance to this whole dimension, which is Prabhupada's fourth dimension, which is Prabhupada's 50% of his unfulfilled mission, which means Daiva Varnashrama Dharma, then we're missing the boat. We're missing. We're missing 50% of our income. So Vaishyas have an extremely important role to play, because the Vaishyas are the ones who are going to feed everyone. The Vaishyas are the one who will be providing what the Brahmanas need to do their jagyas, ghee and milk and yogurt, etc. Yes.
I've heard some stories about the communities, like devotees are organizing communities living in the land,
Yes.
and there is naturally one leader who is like a manager or like a president of a community, and in the beginning everything is okay, but sometimes something happens with such people. They may become proud, or they may become like a
Leaders in such
leaders,
communities, yeah.
and they start exploiting people.
Yes. Yes.
As a manager, and everyone is feel unsatisfaction. They feel his ego,
Yes.
and everyone is not happy. And there is no, for example, in Vedic culture, we see there is a brahmanas have there, and brahmanas can just remove the king.
Right.
So how
What is a check and balance system?
yeah, how it should works in such cases when somebody is loses his qualification, or something happens with him, like we cannot just
Well, the natural course of event, if we look at history, is that if we look at the times, which is not that long ago, when there were kings, well, kings can either be good kings following dharma, or generally in Kali Yuga, bad. And so when there are many bad kings, they just end up fighting amongst themselves, which is what's happening today. Well, there are no kings, but leaders. And so in the Vedic culture, if we go back, let's say 5,000 years ago, well, that was also the situation. There were bad kings and there were good kings. So the good kings all lined up with the Pandavas, and the bad kings ended up, with Duryodhana and company. And so the whole battle of Kurukshetra was fought to destroy. Paritranaya sadhanam, vinashaya saduskitam, to annihilate. So by the laws of nature, by the arrangement of nature, brahmanas do have a role, but when you have uh, bad kings don't care about brahmanas.
Actually, at that time, I didn't see any brahmanas checking the so-called bad kings. They supported them because they followed the dharma. Seemingly, they followed dharma without accepting the supreme person. But that brahmanas was not necessarily personalist. They could be impersonalist. They didn't mind what is the concept of the king, of the supreme person, if they follow the dharma and they distribute enough uh, food for everyone, not misusing the tax. So it seems like only supreme person could check this kind of kings, not the brahmanas, because brahmanas is very, very board. Um,
Well, in the case of King Vena, the
Vena.
Brahmanas took action.
Powerful
But it's
Brahmanas
very
can
rare.
curse,
That's very rare.
kill.
And they have no choice. But in the 5,000 years ago, Krishna's time and before, it was a lot of kings who were not really
Qualified kings.
checked in that way as Vena was checked.
But the fact remains that Brahmanas are meant to have and do have that role, whether due to circumstances they take up that role or not. That is meant to be their role, to actually advise. I mean, Bali Maharaj,
Yes,
right?
Sukracharya.
Yeah.
And Brahmanas checked or stopped Vena because he stopped the Yagyas.
Yes.
But if a king who is a demonical king but still going on doing yagyas like Jarasandha, no Brahmanas will say, "Oh, you are a bad king. You are doing so many yagyas, so nice." So
Yes. Well, there are bad kings and bad Brahmanas.
To the point, all systems are as good as the people who follow it.
Huh?
All systems,
Right.
they are only as good as people who are members and who follow it.
Follow. Yes.
So that's always
Yes.
so he have right, not really so simple that Brahmanas checking Kshatriyas because so many type of Brahmanas they will check each other. So
Right. So that was the point I was making, is that the more powerful bad king will defeat a less powerful bad king.
yeah.
I mean, Brahmanas are there. They have a particular role to play, but when you have an excess of bad kings, then this inhibits, makes it difficult for actual Brahmanas to exercise their role if you just have bad kings. And ultimately, as you rightly mentioned, ultimately Krishna will,
take care.
yeah,
I
Prabhupada
think
says three things: famine, war, and pestilence.
that's right. Yes.
I think maybe the emperor who is controlling the other kings is an important role.
Emperor.
And who is the emperor? It was the big question at that time, and Krishna supported the emperor who was devotee.
Yes. We have a long way to go.
That would be a good problem to have,
Yeah. Right.
because at the time you have a system. Right now,
Yes.
you have it.
And Duryodhan have a anxiety when Yudhishthira got a free place. Many Brahmanas just went there, and he lost a lot of Brahmana and a lot of Praja, and
Yes.
he wanted to stop them, but
Right.
so that was his anxiety, losing Brahmanas who were supporting him.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Jai Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. Gaura Premanandi.
Maharaj, it's interesting that we don't mention too much the Greek
Greek.
society because they were the first who introduced the